How about marijuana stocks? Let's have a look at them. Our next guest is based in Canada, where marijuana is now recreationally legal. Our guest says up there, up north, they're having supply problems with legal marijuana. Greg Taylor is here, portfolio manager at Purpose Investments. Greg, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Did the government mess up legalization up there?
Well, I think they did a little bit, and the companies are just reporting their earnings right now, which has a little bit of a portion of the legal rec market. But really what we're seeing is a lot of the companies are missing on supply, their costs are higher than we expected, and I'm not sure who the blame lies with. I think certainly the government had some confusing regulations to start, but at the end of the day, the companies haven't been able to deliver what they said they would.
Why not? I mean, any idea why? I mean, I would have thought, bearing in mind that there is a huge black market, I would have thought they could have soaked up some of that supply fairly easily.
For sure, and I think a lot of people were focused on the capacity, and I think there was a lot of initial issues that there would be too much capacity at launch, and we're not seeing any signs of that at all. We've had a few crop failures in some of the companies, and I think that at the end of the day, they're finding this is really difficult to grow at scale. Wow.
You can have a crop failure from a marijuana plant in a greenhouse?
Apparently, well, some of it's greenhouse, some of it's indoor, and if any bugs get in it, it can take out the entire crop. And Health Canada is watching this to ensure the quality, and I think that's the big thing that they're trying to figure out, how to deal with and get this to scale.
Now, Greg, this is fascinating stuff. Now let's talk about America. At what point do you think we will have recreational marijuana legalized nationwide? At what point do you think the feds will change the rules here?
Well, it seems every month we more advance towards that goal. Certainly through the midterm elections, it seemed definitely to move further to making that happen. And I think there's different bills that are going through Congress that are making that more clear. Certainly the States Act would be a massive deal for a lot of these companies, which would allow each state to regulate and enforce their own laws, and that allow more banking for these companies.
Sure.
There's also talk within the Farm Act whether they'd legalize CBD and the hemp growing nationwide, and I think that would advance the issue. I think legally ending prohibition, I think, seems to be a few years away.
Well, doesn't that give you guys in Canada, marijuana guys in Canada, doesn't that give you a nice leg up?
Absolutely. And we talk to a lot of these companies, even U.S.-based companies, they don't want it to happen really that fast because they do want to have this bit of a buffer where they can gain scale, they can create a moat ahead of some of the other companies, because if suddenly it were to legalize perfectly tomorrow, I think a lot of the bigger companies would come in, and the companies that are in the space right now are just not ready to deal with that.
Okay, so if I were an investor in the marijuana industry, I would have to look out for extreme volatility. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, and that's what we're seeing with the pullback today and then the last few weeks. A lot of these companies really ran into the legalization in the Canadian market. The companies haven't been able to deliver on the earnings they said they would, so we're seeing the stocks pull back. But I think really this is becoming an opportunity. Some of these companies will get their act together, and it's important for investors to figure out who are the winning companies and who are the guys who weren't able to deliver. The next step that I would look at is looking at the companies that are really pivoting towards the U.S. or some of the international markets. The Canadian market's really been the testing ground, and it feels a few years ahead of the rest of the world. But the rest of the world is going to catch up, and those opportunities are still going to be really profitable for investors.
Fascinating. Greg Taylor, thank you very much indeed for keeping us up to speed on an important new developing industry. Greg, thank you very much, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.